What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to bring you the conclusion to the Bayonetta 3 saga, the situation that we had with the voice actress Helena Taylor. I actually did the first two parts on the main channel, so the conclusion to the trilogy is actually on a separate YouTube channel, but that's okay. For those catching up, what this basically began with is Helena Taylor, the voice actress for Bayonetta, the title character of this franchise. She did a video, and she said basically she was vastly underpaid or offered. The pay was disgustingly low for Bayonetta 3, and she rejected it, and it became a huge thing. It racked up like 10 million views on Twitter, and she's not like the biggest voice actress of all time. She made a big splash by basically calling out Platinum Games, not necessarily Nintendo, more like just the developers of Bayonetta, in that, you know, she's the character and she was offered $4,000 for the role. Now that's important because she made the big deal that it was $4,000. All right. So it became a big deal. Then you start to have Jason Schreier of Bloomberg come out and say, well, you know, that's not actually true. He said he saw documents that she was offered at least $15,000 and that her story isn't exactly like she's missing things, purposely excluding things. And they offered her $15,000. They actually offered her $4,000 to $5,000 per session. She'd had up to 5 sessions, so she would end up making that $15,000 to $20,000 range. She rejected it, so on, so on. So that was part 2, was that basically there was confirmation. Now only Bloomberg got to see these articles or these documents that were her pay or whatever, and so only they were able to see it. But it started to come out that, like, you know, Helena Taylor, she's basically lying. She's lying about the whole situation. Now today she posted on Twitter and she came clean by like correcting all statements. She corrected Bloomberg, but she also corrected her statement, and really, again, makes her not look so good because she comes out and she says, all right, I want to set the record straight on a couple things. And then she goes on to contradict the things she said in her own video. So now she was offered $10,000. Then she wrote to the director of the game, which she mentioned that, and they gave her an extra $5,000. So she was actually going to get paid $15,000. She thought that number was really pathetically low as well. She said no. They circled back 11 months later and said, we'll pay you a flat rate of $4,000 to voice characters in the game, not Bayonetta, just random characters. We'll give you $4,000 so that you're in the game. And she said no to that as well. So that's her story. Now, her saying that really diminishes all the things she said in the first, video that she did, and also does confirm Bloomberg stuff. Now, here's the deal. For those that didn't watch part 1 and 2, and again, I don't blame you because it's on the wrong channel, I had said I'm really disappointed in this entire situation because she didn't need to lie. And of course, there's a debate right now on like, well, was she lying or was she like excluding things? Well, she framed it to look a certain way. Now, I don't know if that's officially lying, but she definitely framed it and left out the $10,000 part, the $5,000 bonus money part. She left that out, okay? So that's, I don't know if you can call that lying, but that certainly changes how you feel about the situation. But what I said, the interesting thing is she didn't have to do any of this. I think she could have came out in that first video and said, I was offered 10, then I got upset. I wrote to them. They gave me $5,000, so I was going to get $15K, and I don't think $15,000 is enough for the main character of a game that sells 1, 2, 3 million copies. I don't think it's worth it. And you know what? I would have agreed with her because ultimately her bringing this stuff up does bring awareness to the voice acting kind of movement in general, right? These people are underpaid. Now, there could be other people underpaid, people on the actual team of Platinum, right, that are actually making the game. They could be underpaid, but specifically, if we're keeping it kind of centered on the problem at hand that she's talking about, these people are underpaid, and that's totally fine. So you don't have to make up that you were only going to get, because that's not really true. You were only offered $4K because you turned down $15,000. So that is not the same thing. Saying that you were offered $4,000 to voice Bayonetta. That's disgustingly low. And that's what you said in the first video. And I got very mad about that because I don't think that was worth it, right? Or that was a good thing that Platinum did. But you didn't need to do that. And it does come across very bad now because now you're saying to people, well, I rejected 15, but I never mentioned that at first. I was only focusing on the 4, which is too low. But now 15, like, here's the thing. I still don't know what the right number is. The report from Bloomberg was that she was asking for like 100,000 plus. She was asking for triple, you know, in the 100K or more range, which is insane, okay? Now that I don't think is, I think actually that's too much. I don't know what the proper range is for this character, but I don't think 100K is the right number. I don't think 4,000 is the right number. Is it 15? Is it 25? Is it 30? I mean, maybe it's somewhere in that range, right? But the whole thing didn't need to happen. So I know there's still like fighting of like, well, you know, you gotta believe, you shouldn't have believed her in the first place. Not even just towards me. This is like the internet talking. You shouldn't have believed her in the first place. This still is like a valid movement and all this stuff. There's a lot of like back and forth. Honestly, again, where I settle on it is she brings up like a good issue that should be talked about more. She actually did focus the narrative on, well, inadvertently, she focused the narrative on there are actual people that have done big games that have been paid $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, which is pathetically low. The thing is with her, that wasn't her price, right? That wasn't what she was going to get. So I think you can still have a good discussion about it. And it's not the like, okay, I'm kind of in the middle of like, should I have believed her in the first place? You know, maybe I should have learned my lesson because of the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard stuff, where you probably shouldn't believe the first thing that comes out of people's mouth. Maybe you should hear both sides first. I get that. On the other hand, believing the working class actress over the corporation is maybe the better way to go in the very beginning. But I do understand the idea that you should probably hear everybody out first. And ultimately, you know, when you did hear everybody out, you get to a place where, yeah, 15,000 still maybe isn't enough, and that's okay. And I actually respect her decision of saying, no, I'm worth more than 15,000. That's fine. I think that's great. You don't need to have made these videos and lied about it or misconstructed, you know, whatever the scenario that you're in. That wasn't necessary, and that makes you look really bad. That's having people calling her all sorts of different names, and I don't know, but does she deserve it? Does she not? That's up to, you know, the individual to decide. She shouldn't have made up those the scenario that she's in because she changed some things. She left some things out, and when you add those things in, it flat out is a different message. It's a different kind of feel you're gonna have on the situation, and that's not what she did. So shame on her, I suppose, and, you know, hopefully it does bring more eyes to that these people do generally get underpaid, right? And also kind of poetry that this happens or this finishes. This is a 3-part saga. It ends on the Monday when Bayonetta comes out. Bayonetta 3 comes out this Friday, so we're almost there to the actual game. I don't really think boycotting it is necessary anymore if people were going to. I don't really think it's worth it. But you know what? That's just my opinion. You can have literally whatever opinion you want. If you want to boycott the game or not get the game or whatever, that's totally fine by me. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up, and I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.